That's how we fight back. We fight back by making mistakes. I've been drinking a lot of decaf coffee recently, and it seems to be doing the trick. I've stopped drinking coffee altogether. Once you are hyper-focused on the right thing, you're like a machine. You're like, poof. The problem is just getting to that thing, and I found that coffee just introduced too much stimulus to go, ooh, shiny. So decaf seems to be hitting the spot. Anyway, I wanted to talk about AI. And I wanted to ramble about this on here. I've not scripted this at all. I literally just went, right, let's set up a mic, let's set up a light, let's get the camera rolling and talk about it. Because a lot of people are just like, I don't know how to navigate it, because it's all of a sudden it's come upon us and consumed the entire world in a heartbeat. And I think 2 or 3 times this last month, I've had people send me music and be like, Rick, check out this song. It's an absolute banger. And I've listened to all 3 of these songs and I'm like, AI. And these are on Spotify and they have hundreds of thousands of streams. And I've sent messages back and I've looked it up. I've Googled it and I've found out that these bands or these musicians are AI. Someone's just typed a prompt in to a machine and the machine has created a piece of music. And so as a musician, as someone that's spent the last 20, 25 years honing my craft and developing my skills, and my brother has spent his time doing the same thing, for us to then be just like hit this wall of, well, some dude literally typed a prompt into a computer the other week and it's created a song that's now had hundreds of thousands of plays. And how do you even compete with that? Because you just iterate that across time and you get 100,000 machines writing 100,000 songs every 2 or 3 minutes, and all of a sudden there's no music left. And I think that's why my brother and I have been forced to a degree to take the opposite route. Because I think in order to be human, imperfections are inherently human. And imperfections are beautiful. We all don't like to make mistakes, but I feel that it's those mistakes that give something the character and the raw edge that makes us sympathize with the art that we see. In that we can look at a painting from far away and be like, that is stunning, but it's only when you get up close, like a foot away from it, that you see that actually the people are just sort of blobs of colour and the eye is just blobs of colour and those trees are just like paintbrush jabs on the thing, but as we've stepped away from it, it looks like a perfect scene. But you get close and like there's no individual leaves. I think with that analogy, you're just... And I'm trying to ramble here because I've not scripted this in any way. I was tempted to just be like, ooh, ChatGPT, I want to make a video. Can you give me an idea of what I want to do? And can you write me a script? And that just doesn't serve anyone. I decided to set it up so it looks somewhat professional and like get it recording nicely and set up a light and put a mic on and, you know, brush my teeth. But ultimately, I just wanted to ramble about this because it's something that like hurts me to a degree. Art is solely in the human realm, I feel. I don't think it should be... I feel like AI is a beautiful tool that people can use. The internet was like terrified everyone when it started up. It was like, wow, this is insane. And that's been the case with new technology. Every single time something new has come out, it's just been like a shock to the system until people get used to it. And then it's in, you know, when the mobile phone came out, there were people like, oh, I'm never getting a phone. And then all of a sudden everyone's got a phone or 2 or 3 phones. And they've already been through half a dozen, 20 phones already. And I think AI is the same thing, that if we adopt it as a tool, it can be extremely useful. I use it as a tool. But as an artistic tool, I don't think it's relevant at all. And I listened to a video the other day on this topic about some guy that said that the gatekeepers have been taken away. Now, much in the same way that I've set up a music studio in my apartment, I don't have to go pay crazy money to go record in a studio. So, like, that gatekeeping has been taken away. But then the gatekeeping of music itself has been taken away. Someone doesn't have to sit in their bedroom by themselves practicing guitar or practicing drums or piano or violin or clarinet or any of these instruments if they can just go on a computer, type a few prompts in, and get it gifted to them. But I feel that would just be empty. It's the same as cheating on a test. Like, there are some people out there that quite happily cheat on a test and get a good grade and copy the person sat next to them and not have a shred of guilt. Me, on the other hand, if I'd have got a grade through doing that, I don't know where it would just rack my conscience. And I feel like some people that maybe make AI music would be they should be racked with some level of guilt and inadequacy, surely. I'd say that's the case. I know that would be the case for me if I used AI to be creative. And so what my brother and I have done is we've adopted the approach of musicians from the 60s and the 70s, 50s. These guys, they went into the studio, they were recording on tape, and realistically, you only had a certain amount of tape. It was like the studio or the record label or whatever has paid for X amount of tape. You have X amount of takes to get the song, so you better get it in the time that we have in the studio and with the amount of tape that we have. You're under time constraints. You can't make this super perfect. You can't do take after take after take after take after take of vocals or guitar or whatever. It's like if you hit a bum note, like whichever take's the one that we have to use it. And that's it. Once we've stuck the tape together, tough cookies. I wear glasses now, which is quite helpful. I can see stuff. Not permanently, but when I'm doing this, it's like, I can read what I'm looking at. Anyway, people would just record things in that fashion, where they have just X amount of tape to get whatever they want to do done. But nowadays, you can record it, and then you could do 100 takes, 150 takes, 1,000 takes, 5,000, infinite amount of takes until you were absolutely 100% happy with it, or it was absolutely 100% perfect. But even now, you can tweak stuff. I mean, I know auto-tune has been around for the longest time, but just tweaking things so that stuff's auto-tuned. So my brother and I have approached recording with a very simple, clear rule. I think we go, it's sub 10 takes. We don't do any more than 10 takes. Like, definitely not with guitars. I get guitars generally under 5 takes. Like, it'll be there. And we're not nudging anything. We're not messing about. We're not snapping to grids. We're not auto-tuning, that's for sure. So for vocals, we'll do probably 10 takes, and then we'll comp a vocal, which is where you have 10 takes, and then you take maybe the first line. Yeah, I nailed that from take 7, and I'm going to take 3's second bit of the verse, and you sort of you snip it up, which is what you would do with tape back in the day. But these days, people can literally type in some prompts into AI, get AI to write the lyrics, and then get AI to sing the song for them. Or they can sing the song, and then AI will alter the vocals so that it's in tune. I honestly don't know how these people sleep at night. If you're one of these people that think you're being creative by prompting a robot to do something for you, you're not. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. If you lack the skill and ability, then learn it. My appreciation for musicians has gone up tenfold since the advent of AI. Because every time I see someone playing, and I know because we're so exposed to so much music now, or so many videos, that when we actually see something impressive, it's difficult to be impressed, because it's like, oh yeah, I saw someone play a guitar like that the other week on YouTube, but better. It feels like there's not much original going on, when in actual fact there is. If anything, AI has brought about how would I word it? AI has shone a light on people actually playing music. So I want to try and be optimistic for the future with regard to AI. That I think everything will come around full circle, in that people will get so sick and tired of seeing stuff online that they're like, "Oh, I think a robot did that," to the point where they go, "Do you know what? In order to make sure that a robot didn't do that, I'm gonna go to the venue tonight and see a completely original band that I know for a fact, because I'm watching them with my eyes, that they are not robots. But then, and like, we should take advantage of that, because at some point soon it will be like you rock up to a venue and there'll be just robots playing, and I'll be melting them down for scrap. That's what I'll be doing. I don't know. It all gets a bit much. Are musicians these days now just fighting some sort of losing battle? Or, because of the nature of the battle now, people will go full circle and come back to the roots of music, in that it'll get to the point where you don't trust a single note that is played if you're not actually physically sat there in front of a human who's playing it. I remain to a degree optimistic that things are going to come full circle, that it'll get to the point where people just like, I can't trust my eyes and I can't trust my ears unless I'm physically sat right there watching someone perform, and I'm in the magic of the moment. That might be the way it goes. But at the same time, to what degree is all that focus going to be on cover bands, or is it going to be on old dinosaur bands that are charging 200-300 quid for a ticket to one of their shows, you know, just for you to find out that they can't sing anymore? Is there going to be a big resurgence in grassroots music, in people just, you know, stringing together 3 chords and singing about their dog? There's a lot of question marks over the world, and I think there's too much to think about half the time. And there's a slowness and a stillness is required half the time in order to get some level of clarity on things. You know what I went and bought the other day? I bought a listen. 1933 Smith Corona typewriter. It's heavy. And you know what? There's no spell check on that thing. That's humbling. It's humbling. But there's nothing more beautiful. It's crazy because there's another desk there basically, and what I've done is I've got the digital side of the studio over here. This is my workstation, the digital world. This is the screen area, and then you spin around, and over here it's a bit of a mess at the moment, but it should be. We have the analogue world, which is just a normal, decent-sized desk, bigger than this one, that has, I've got a tape machine, I've got my typewriter, my art supplies. Over there is no digital devices are allowed over there. And I think that that's important. I think there needs to be a separation or a return to the analogue in order to balance out the digital. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen with the AI thing. I'd like to be accurate in that, with that prophetic outlook, in that it's going to get to the point where there's no trusting anything that you see on a screen. And then when that happens, it's like you have to disregard the screen and you have to go, oh, we're going over there. If I hand type a letter on this typewriter, I can't, it doesn't autocorrect. I have to be like completely authentic in what I'm typing and concentrate. Just like if I'm playing guitar live, it's like if I make a mistake, a bum note, which I always do, but I always laugh it off because I think it's brilliant and it's so human. And there are mistakes on every album that I've recorded. So many mistakes. Like, they're just endless. But that's the beautiful thing about it. Because, like, why else? What else? Everything shouldn't be perfect. This video's not scripted in any sort of way, shape, or form. I was just like, I'm going to set up the camera and I'm going to ramble to you. Probably repeat myself a bunch of times, but I'm just going to ramble. I'm just going to say exactly how I feel about this whole situation. I feel equally pessimistic as I do optimistic, which is glorious being a Libra. I'm just sort of in between the two ends of the scales going, oh, it's all doomed and there's robots writing music and stealing our jobs. And then on the other side of it, I'm like, people will get sick of the robots and they'll come out and be like, can you play some guitar for us, Richard? Because we liked you playing guitar and we're sick of the robots playing guitar because they're too good at it. And they don't play guitar. It's just a simulation. So yeah, I think that's going to be I think there's going to be a return to the analogue. I'd like to think. I like that level of optimism. I do. I'll drink to that. So what do we do moving forward? I think it's too easy to get hung up, personally, as a musician, on getting stuff completely right before you release it to the world, because everything else that's out there is highly, highly polished and mistake-free, because that's the nature of it now. You can do infinite takes until it is perfect, or you can tweak things. You can auto-tune vocals until it's perfect. You listen to all those old records. You listen to David Bowie. He didn't hit half of his notes are not right. You listen to you listen to Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan's a great example, man. Like, he'd be auto-tuned. He wouldn't even get anywhere near the status that he'd get to today if he had another go without being auto-tuned. But there was so much soul in what he did and so much authenticity in what he did, and that's what gets through to the people. So I guess that's the approach. That's how we fight back. We fight back by making mistakes. Don't be so afraid to make mistakes, because mistakes are what make us just beautifully human. I'd like to remain optimistic, even though I slip into pessimism so easily. I'd like to remain optimistic that the world is it's not doomed. It's not doomed. I think people will go, this is too much. I need to go outside and smell a flower for once. Or I need to go listen to the birds sing. Or I'm sick of this robot music now. I'm going to go support that band that I've not supported in ages, you know. Even if they play the same set, or even if they've not written any new songs in a while, or released any new songs in a while, let's go support them, because they're out there having a go. It's tricky out on the road being a musician, and it's, you know, if it was about money and about surviving, I'd have quit it ages ago and done something different. But here I am, still having a go, setting up my studio, you know, recording and trying to put the work in and have a crack at it and try and battle against like an ever rising tide of nonsense in the world and trying to wade through it all. But I guess the only way to combat that is through authenticity and putting out something that's like worthwhile and true to myself. If I'm happy with it, that's all that matters. I thought I'd have a ramble on here in my mustard jumper. Yeah, stay safe, everybody. Keep doing what you're doing. Make a load of mistakes. Mess it all up. Mess it up, start again. I messed this video up once already because I didn't press record on here. I'd done like 10 minutes of rambling. Right, I'll stop it now. Yeah, mess up, make mistakes. And it's beautifully human to do so. I'll see you another time anyway. Big love.